Welcome to Darktopia, where shadows whisper and nightmares come to life. Tonight, we bring you a tale of horror that will send chills down your spine. Are you ready to step into the darkness? Let the terror begin. In a quiet town, nestled among the trees, stood a modest house where the air was thick with memories. The creaky floorboards whispered stories of the past, and the walls held the laughter of a family that once thrived within. Thomas had been the eldest son, a protective brother to Theo, his bright-eyed little brother. But the joy that once filled the house faded when Thomas tragically lost his life in a car accident a few months prior. Anna, their mother, struggled to keep the pieces of her family together. Each day was a battle against the grief that seeped into her bones, pulling her down into a darkness she couldn't escape. The house, once vibrant with life, now echoed with silence, broken only by the soft weeping of Anna and the occasional rustle of Theo's toys as he played alone in the dimly lit living room. Theo missed Thomas terribly. He often found himself sitting on the steps of the porch, gazing at the sky, waiting for his brother to return. Sometimes, he could almost hear Thomas calling him, a soft whisper carried by the wind. "I'm still here, Theo," he would say in his mind, but it was never loud enough to fill the void left behind. One stormy evening, as the rain lashed against the windows and thunder rumbled ominously overhead, Theo was playing with his action figures. The flickering candlelight cast long shadows, and for a moment, he thought he saw a familiar shape in the corner of the room. It was just a trick of the light, he assured himself, but the feeling lingered in unshakable sense that he was not alone. "Thomas," Theo called out, his small voice trembling. He hoped against hope that somehow his brother could hear him. The only reply was the soft patter of rain against the window. In the kitchen, Anna prepared dinner, her movements automatic. The smell of simmering soup filled the air, but her heart wasn't in it. She glanced toward the living room, her heart aching at the sight of Theo playing by himself. She wanted to comfort him, but she felt lost in her sorrow, unable to bridge the chasm that had opened since Thomas's death. As darkness descended, the wind howled outside, and the lights flickered. Anna hurried to check the candles, but just as she turned to head back to Theo, she heard a faint whisper, a voice that seemed to echo through the hallways of their home. "Anna," her heart raced. "Is that you, Thomas?" she called out, her voice filled with a mix of hope and dread. But there was no answer, only the continued whispering of the wind. In the living room, Theo felt a chill pass through him. He looked up, feeling as though someone was watching him. "Thomas?" he whispered again, his eyes wide with both fear and excitement. He had read about ghosts and spirits in his bedtime stories, and part of him longed to believe that his brother was still with him. Suddenly, the shadows in the room deepened, swirling like smoke. Theo's action figures toppled over as if pushed by an unseen force. His heart raced, but he felt an inexplicable pull to stay. He stood up and called out again. "Thomas, is that you? Are you here?" The shadows coalesced into a faint, hazy form, and for a moment, Theo could see the outline of his brother, Thomas, standing just beyond the flickering candlelight. He was ethereal, his features soft and almost glowing. "Theo." The voice came clearer this time, a gentle caress against the boy's ears. "Thomas," Theo shouted, joy flooding his heart. He ran toward the apparition, arms outstretched. "I missed you so much." But as he reached out, Thomas's form flickered and wavered. "I'm sorry, Theo," he said, sadness washing over his face. "I can't stay for long. I'm trapped." "Trapped? What do you mean?" Theo's excitement turned to confusion. The shadows deepened, and Thomas's expression turned grave. "I need your help to be free. There's something in this house. Something that keeps me here." Theo's heart sank. "What is it? What do you need me to do?" Before Thomas could answer, Anna entered the room, her face pale. "Theo, who are you talking to?" she asked, panic creeping into her voice. "It's Thomas, Mom. He's here," Theo exclaimed, looking back at the fading figure. Hannah's heart raced as she turned to see the ghostly silhouette of her son, Thomas. She breathed, her voice breaking. She felt a rush of emotions, longing, love, and sorrow all mingled together. But Thomas's form began to fade even more, the shadows pulling him back. I can't hold on much longer," he said, his voice strained. "You need to find the locket. It's hidden in the attic. It's the key to my freedom." "What locket?" Anna asked, her voice trembling. "The one you gave me on my birthday," Thomas replied, desperation lacing his words. "Please, before it's too late." With that, the shadows engulfed him, and the room fell silent. Anna's heart sank as she turned to Theo, who looked as though he had lost something precious again. "We need to find it," she said, her voice firm despite the fear gnawing at her insides. "Let's go to the attic." They climbed the narrow staircase, the old wood creaking under their weight. The attic door was slightly ajar, a thin line of darkness beckoning them inside. Dust hung in the air, glimmering in the faint light that filtered through the window. The attic was cluttered with forgotten memories, boxers of toys, old clothes, and family photos that seemed to stare back at them. Anna felt a sense of dread as they moved further into the cramped space. She scanned the room for anything that resembled a locket, her heart pounding against her ribcage. "Over there?" Theo shouted, pointing to a small box tucked away in the corner. "It's got to be in there." Anna rushed over, her fingers trembling as she opened the box. Inside lay a collection of trinkets, and at the very bottom was the locket, a delicate piece of gold, its surface engraved with intricate designs. She picked it up, holding it close to her heart. "This is it," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "Now what?" Theo asked, looking around anxiously. "Thomas said it's the key to his freedom," Anna replied. "We need to find a way to release him." As she held the locket, a warm glow enveloped them. The shadows in the attic began to shift and swirl, and suddenly, Thomas appeared before them again, his form stronger this time. "You found it," he said, relief flooding his voice. "What do we do now?" Theo asked, excitement mingled with fear. "Hold it tightly and say my name 3 times, Thomas instructed. "It will break the curse." With trembling hands, Anna and Theo clasped the locket. "Thomas, Thomas, Thomas!" they cried together. A blinding light erupted from the locket, filling the attic with warmth and energy. The shadows recoiled, and the air crackled with an electric tension. As the light reached its peak, Thomas's form shimmered, and the shadows retreated completely. "Thank you," Thomas said, his face illuminated with joy. "I'm free now. I can finally rest." Tears streamed down Anna's face as she felt the warmth of her son's spirit surrounding them. "I love you, Thomas," she cried, her heart swelling with both sorrow and relief. "I love you too, Mom." "Always," he replied, a soft smile on his lips. With one final look, he began to fade, his essence merging with the light until he was no longer there. The attic returned to its stillness, the shadows receding into the corners. Anna and Theo stood in silence, the locket still warm in their hands. A sense of peace settled over them, as if the house itself had exhaled, releasing the weight of sorrow that had lingered for months. As they descended the stairs, the house felt different, lighter, as if it had shed its burden. The echoes of laughter, the warmth of love, and the memories of Thomas filled the space once more. Anna took Theo's hand. "Let's keep his memory alive," she said softly. "We'll always have him in our hearts." And as they stepped outside into the cool evening air, the stars twinkled above them like distant candles, a promise that love, even in its most haunting form, never truly fades away. You've made it through the darkness, for now, but remember, the shadows are always watching. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next story that haunts the night. Until next time, sleep, if you can.